First of all, so thanks for colleagues joining for today's webinar. So again, Cindy later on will send those links and as well as the evaluation form through the chat room message, so you can check for more information. And then second issue is so that's all. And today's actually is I'm just want to start the workshop. Actually, my colleague Lynn and Cindy will be the one to give examples and presentation for today's webinar. So so three of us are actually from Tele. So and I also wear several hats in some other organizations, etc. So that's the setting. And today we will talk about Miro, and more on collaborative learning activities. Okay, so first of all, we can start from the definition. So this is one of the most cited definitions from one of the researcher. So collaborative learning is that it is a situation in which two or more people learn or attempt to learn something together. So here there are two things. So first of all, it can be at least two people, and also multiple people, 4, 6, etc., etc. And second thing is together. So his definition is actually together can be virtual, can be physical, can be through Zoom, can be through within the classroom, can be offline, can be synchronous, can be asynchronous, etc. And can be just using whiteboard, or just use Miro example. So different kinds of together. This definition is quite broad. Today, and we think actually Miro can serve some purpose. So it's not just for virtual instruction or distance learning. It can be used also within classroom. So that's why we would like to show some examples. So actually we have worked with some teachers in the past and would like to share some examples. So let you get inspired, etc. Of course, besides examples from our team, if you go to Miro, there are lots of templates for you already predefined. So you can see if you go to Miro, search for templates or education templates, and also meetings and workshop templates to help to do the facilitated discussion or group activities or collaborative learning. So of course, I believe most of you will spend your own time to think about, spend your time and think about how to design. So maybe some of you may still find difficulties. For example, there are so many templates. Which template is more suitable for my learning activities, etc. So yes, so that's why we have this again. Some promotion is the instructional design extension system scheme. So we get support from UGC. So that's why we have we want to support 20 courses within this 2 years. And so we have some cases that actually using Miro for collaborative learning, and we have some other cases using OpenX, building chatbot, etc. So if you are interested to join to co-develop contents together, and then work together to make something that is relevant and useful for students, so feel free to reach to us. And of course, for us, we always want to aim to through those development, we aim to produce enhance 3 things. First is the social presence, quantitative presence, and then teaching presence. So through the COI community of inquiry framework. So this framework has been widely used for virtual instruction, and we believe even in face-to-face or virtual learning, virtual instruction, this also helps. So try to help students to have social connections, connect with teachers, and connect to contents and assessment and reflection. So we try to develop everything based on enhancing these 3 kinds of presence. Okay. So again, if you are interested to work with us together, so feel free to talk to us. Okay, so today's topic will be on 4 things. So first is Lynn will have to bring some examples up, talk about the basic function first, and then we'll talk about some basic adoption of Miro in some graduate school and nursing department. And then my colleague Cindy will also share some experience in the Faculty of Education using Miro as a learning activity, as well as using it as a LMS. So first of all, I would like to pass my mic to Lynn for continue the conversation. Yeah.
Okay, can everybody hear me clearly? So, okay, I believe yes. So, thank you, Leon. I'm very happy to be here to share my experiences of collaborating with teachers on using Miro in part of their course design. So, Miro, as we know, like Miro is a collaborative whiteboard tool. It's basically just a digital whiteboard, so we can stick things on it so that everyone can see it and play around it. The highly relevant keywords to its benefit is that it could monitor the work in progress and facilitate student collaboration and discussion, enable the storytelling and gamify design, also like idea sharing exercise or mind mapping exercise. It also provides the fun visual effect. The most importantly, it is free. But you will need to apply for the education plan through the QR code and the web link. So after you visit this web link, you will be able to see this application form. The first part is the institution's information, in which you will need to fill in the accurate Hong Kong email address with the domain @hku.hk. And the rest is just the supplementary information, which you can leave them blank. So after you submit the application, you should receive an immediate email confirmation from Miro. But if you didn't, please just give it several more minutes. So after you have successfully applied for the free education plan account, you still need to sign it up. So please go to the the Miro homepage and click the top right button, sign up free, and then type in your name and the Hong Kong email address you register for the account, and then your password. So like after you sign up, then you sign in with account information. Then you will be able to see this dashboard. So you can click the blue button to create your first Miro board. And I'm going to introduce some basic features of Miro that you will need to know when creating your Miro board. The first one is select. If you want to select and move around the objects on Miro board, you would need to select this arrow and see it being highlighted with blue color. Otherwise, you can only move around in the board. The second one is the sticky notes. So by clicking it, you will be able to see many different colors of sticky notes. Then you can click them and add it in the board. So as you can see here, I've added 4 sticky notes here. So not only sticky notes, you can also add other things like a text or figures or like videos or different type of files based on your needs. The third one is connection line. So if you want to connect different objects, then you can use this function. And here is the demonstration. So you can select different types of arrows and then try to link the 2 objects. You can also select the color of the connection line and also adjust the thickness of it. You can also select the different types of lines. So now we have successfully connected these 2 sticky notes. The next function is the pen. You can use it to highlight the content on the board. So this is how it works. You click it and you highlight the content you want to emphasize. You can also change the color of your highlight. Then you can erase the highlight after you finish it. The next function is comment. You use it when you want to give feedback to your group mates or your students on the board. So click it and you see the bubbles and you put it next to the objects and then leave the comments. You can also reply to someone else's comments. So on the board, if you see this comment bubbles, then it means there is a new comment here. The last function is a frame. If you want to add or organize several objects within a certain area, then this is the function that you need to know. And here is how it works. It's easier to select the custom size so that you can adjust the size based on what you need. Then you can change the color of your frame and then rename your frame. Remember, if you want to move the frame, you always need to click the name of this frame. And you can see like all the 4 sticky notes are grouped together within this frame, and they are being moved around together. So this frame will allow you to manage different objects collectively. And the frame will always at the bottom on the board. So now we have some basic understandings or the basic features of Miro. What sort of learning activities can we exactly do with it? So here are some examples. The first one, the first sample exercise is I collaborated with a teacher from graduate school in her summer program, which is called the Best Research Practices. It was a face-to-face class with around 40 RPG students. The teacher wanted to focus on the scenario-based and group-based learning activities. So here is the overview of the Miro board we have co-designed together. The learning objectives of this course is that we help the students to understand the definition of 3 research issues: authorship, mentorship, and data integrity. And we help students be able to evaluate the real-life situations and possibly make the best decision related to these 3 issues. And the learning learning activities the teacher wants to do is 1 warm-up story and 3 real-life scenarios in which students need to make their decisions. And then students will discuss and rationale the decision as a group to understand as many different perspectives as possible. So here, to help students understand more different perspectives, the teacher wants to do something called group rotation. It's basically in each scenario, the students will be grouped with different classmates in the group discussions so that they reach to as many different students as possible. And then after that, the teacher will review each answers and ask some students to share more details and then give the teachers own feedback to help the students reflect. This is the basic activities the teacher wants to do. So here is the warm-up, the first warm-up activity. We can see like we use an orange frame to set up the territory for this warm-up activity and put on the story on it. So the rundown for the warm-up activity and the scenarios are all the same. So first, the teacher will read the story together with the class and then think about the question together. The students need to make the decision, yes or no. Also, the warm-up activity here is that a very common real-life example. Like if you drop your phone in the MTR track, whether you want to pick it up or not. So the student needs to make the decision, so yes or no. And then students need to pick up their name tag and drag it to the rationale panel. So as you can see in the left side, we use the purple dots and put the student's name on it to serve as a name tag. And then students need to drag it to the rationale panel. So 2 columns here, we use the sticky notes to form the individual decision panel. So the blue ones are yes decision and the red ones are no decision. So students need to drag the name tag into individual panel. And each panel only allows 4 name tags. So if you see there are 4 name tags in one panel, that means this group is full. You need to look for another group to join. And then after that, the students need to find their classmates whose name tag in the same panel with them, and then discuss and rationale the decision, and type in the result of the discussion in the panel. Then the teacher will review the answer one by one and ask some students to share more details. And then the teacher will give her feedback. So this is the warm-up activity. For the first scenario, it is about the authorship. So we can see here, we add figures to represent the character of supervisor and the character of an RPG student. Then after reading the scenario, the students need to answer the related questions to the research issue, which is, if you are the RPG student, will you put the name of your supervisor as the first author in your own research paper? Then the students need to make their decision whether yes or no. And then at the right side, the green dots are the students' names tag. Then they need to drag the name tag to the rationale panel. And we can see here we use 2 pink frames to set up the territory for the yes panel and the no panel, and use the blue sticky notes to form the individual group panel. So students just need to drag the name to the panel to form the group. In this picture, we can see the real-time student cursor are moving around the scenario when reading the scenario together in the class. And this picture is group rotation, and students are looking for their classmates to form the group. This is the group discussion after they find their group mates, and then they sit down together and start to rationale the decision. In order to manage the time effectively, we use the built-in timer to set up the time limit for both group mate hunting and the group discussion, so that students know how much time they have left for each exercise. So now we can see, like in the node panel here, so in the node panel here, like in each groups, they have put on their name tags and the result of the group discussions. Then the teacher will go through the answer one by one and give the her own feedbacks. And if she feels the needs, she will ask the particular students to share more details on why and how you make the decision, and to explain about her rationale. So this is the node panel that with the students' information rationale on it. Then at the end of each scenario, the teacher will capture the key concept by asking what issues you see in the given case about the best research practices. So for the first scenario, it's about authorship. So authorship option will be highlighted. And by clicking it, the students will be directed to the definition box of authorship. So in this box, the teacher will then explain and emphasize the definition and information she wants the students to understand and remember. This is the completed learning cycle for each scenario. So in this course, and we went through the three scenarios with the same learning cycle. And in this class, we use the basic Miro functions like the frames and the connection line and sticky notes to create the scenario-based and group-based learning activity. Now we're going to talk about the second simple and short Miro exercise from the nursing department summer program. It is designed for the Form 4 secondary school students, and it aims at giving the Form 4 students basic understanding of the nursing study using the problem-based learning activities. And also, this program wants the students to understand the signs and symptoms of 3 medical problems: stroke, heat stroke, and hypoglycemia. So in this exercise, the teacher wants to give the Form 4 students the understanding of the nursing training, to making the initial diagnosis on the possible medical problem that a patient has based on his medical profile and symptoms. So here we can see the patient's name on sticky notes marked strong, and using another table to form to list out his patient profile, like his symptoms and his medical histories. And then using another table to list out all the 3 possible medical problems that this patient may have. And then the students are asked to use the sticky notes to write down the symptoms of each medical problems. Then after the whole categorizations, the teacher and the students will go back to the patient profile and then to vote for the final possible medical problem they think this patient may have based on his patient profile. So this is a simple exercise that we use Miro to design, and again with the basic features. And this template are reusable in the future classes. I think my colleague Cindy has shared the link for the first template, the template for the first exercise. But there are many other tools in the market, like Jamboard or concept board that you can also use in your design. So here we're only using Miro as an example. So if you have interest, like welcome to talk to us, like to co-design the best for your courses. And next, my colleague Cindy is going to introduce more Miro case design. Let's pass time to Cindy.
So now I'm going to share 2 cases of using Miro in the classroom from the Faculty of Education.
Both of the cases are from the MITE program. This is the general view of our class board in the MIT 6301 classroom. And in this classroom, we mainly use Miro as a space for the learning activities. So in session 0, we have this kind of icebreakers for students to get to know each other. Firstly, one of the advantages that we use Miro to do such kind of activity is first that our contents can be visible, shareable, manageable, and also easy to follow for students. Another, it also facilitates student interactions. For example, I will call it this kind of interaction is like the non-verbal interactions. For example, students can leave comments via sticky notes or also type in tests. So in the middle is a template for each student. So as you can see, it's a human bingo, and students, they need to write down their names on the bingo. And also there is some white boxes with the statement. For example, the first one, I like Chinese foods, another, I like superhero movies. So students, they need to communicate with their friends so that they can like write down their friend's name and get to know each other. Our right-hand side, this is the whole design of these activities within different groups. We think that although we are getting back to the face-to-face contest, we can still run this kind of activities using Miro in the face-to-face classroom. And this is another examples of the learning activities in the classroom. There are 2 activities we run in the classrooms. We actually require students to do the group work. So they will have the group discussions in the breakout rooms. So the rundowns is, firstly, I would recommend like we need to provide clear and enough instructions by slides and also on the Miro board so that our students will be clear about what they will do and what we want them to do in the breakout rooms. And then after like around 10 minutes or 15 minutes discussion in the breakout rooms, they will get back to the Zoom main sessions. So they will have the group presentation in front of the class. Through asking students to present and share on the Miro board, I think firstly, it helps us to get students involved in the classroom activities. And another is like, it helps to make our students' learning progress visible because they are required to write on something, work on the Miro page. This is case 2. And as you can see, we have a bunch of materials in these classrooms. Different from the first case, we use the Miro board not only for the learning activities, but also for use it as a learning management system. In other words, we are not using HKU Moodle in this course. We put everything on the Miro board. This course is about educational videos and storytelling, which requires our students to work on, produce and also present many multimedia contents. So our design includes 4 parts. Everything starts from part 1, course schedule, and the second one in class collaboration and presentation. These are the main parts that our students will work on in the classrooms. And the third one is a place for them to present their final projects. And also we have a showcase sections there, and we also require them to provide peer review to each other. And the fourth one is a submission area that we require our students to submit their work through the Google links on Mirobot. So let's go through it one by one. Part 1, like everything starts from the course schedule. So if you look at the slides, as you can see, there is a film-like timeline. So it's the course schedule. So as you can see about the course, week 0 and week 1. So we try to organize all the learning materials from section 1 to section 8. And also those learning materials, those materials above the course schedule, these are the materials for the pre-class and also the post-class activities. So our students can easily follow those contents once they want to check out them. And those content below the course schedule, there are materials for the in-class lectures and workshop activities. And as you can see, we use different colors for the cards on Miro. So for example, the dark blue ones are those reading materials for students, and the green ones are those activities that require group discussion, group collaborations. So after several sessions, our student will be easily follow those contents by identifying different categories of using those cards on Mirobot. So part 2, part 2, this is the main space that our student will work on throughout the whole course. So as you can see from the general view, we actually divided those materials on a weekly basis. So for example, this is one of the activities in week 4. So this one, we require students to share their ideas on adaptive and interactive video. And as you can see, this small area is actually the Google Slides. So we write down our we write down the clear instructions and just copy and paste the slides on the Miro board, and the student can read it directly on the Miro board. So this is one of the advantages I would like to introduce. Is Miro board is actually could be a perfect match to Google Suite, YouTube video, and also PDF, a PDF file from our desktop. Because once we link our Google account with our Miro account, we can just copy and paste the link so that we can share those videos or slides or Google Docs on the Miro board with one click. In these ways, we don't have to click on the link and jump to another site to view all the contents. We can do all the things on the Miro board. That's another area that requires students to present their final project. So in the last sessions, there will be a showcase sessions that will require our students, there will be different groups, and each group will have one member in each group to present their work. In this way, every member in each group, they should be very clear. They should understand their own products very well, so that they can present it and share their ideas with the other group. Again, they need to link their Google account with the Miro so that they can just copy and paste the contents and show it on our Miro board. This is one of the group work from our students. As you can see, firstly, we provide an embedded web page which is full of tests for our students. I actually download the web page in the PDF format, and then I just copy and paste it to the Miro bot so that our students can check out the contents directly on the Miro bots. And as our requirement, they need to clarify their proposal, and also they need to analyze the contents, because we are asking them to try to transfer those full of test website into the digital content one. So in the area that we can see their design, their proposal, they create a header for this web page, and also they're trying to turn some in-test content into the digital videos, and also some infographics, etc. And the area on the right-hand side, you can see some sticky notes. So it is during the presentations, we require their peers to leave comments using sticky notes. So in these ways, through the presentation on Miro, firstly, our students can present their content, present their idea very well to visualize all the contents clearly. Another thing is through this way, we can achieve peer review, peer learning in the classroom. This is the last part of our designs. We also provide our students a place to do the assignment submission. And also, because we need to provide a private link for our students, so here we use Google Form with Miro. Similar to case 1, we also have another icebreaker in these classrooms, but consider the main topic of this course is about storytelling. So we designed this game. It is called in game. So as you can see, firstly, we provide template 1 to our students, and here we have the instruction for them. We require them to pick up their favorite candies to each plate, and they need to write down their names on their own plate and select those candies. And after 5-minute selections, we will lock the board. Another advantage on Miro is that we can lock the contents so that other users, they can't change the content. So step 2, we will show them the second step instructions. We show them which color will direct to one questions. For example, could you please share one of the best data in the uni? something like this. We will assign them to the breakout room so that they can communicate with each other, so that they can share their personal stories with their peers in the breakout room. So all those contents are designed based on our teaching needs. So if you don't want to create the script picker or those templates by yourself, you can also check out the Miro templates. They have templates by different themes. For example, this one is for icebreaker. I also shared the link by the Zoom chat box, so you can chat again. So I just introduced 2 cases from the Faculty of Education. And for case 1, we just used Miro as a place for the classroom activities. But in the second case, we not only use it for classroom activity, but use it as a learning management system. In other words, we will keep those reading materials and like those YouTube tutorial videos on MiroBot. Why we try to introduce these different cases from different faculties is that we think Miro is a good tool for digital collaborations. It helps us to facilitate student communications, no matter before class, in class, or even after class, because students have the access to the Miro bot so that they can check out those contents anytime and anywhere. And also, it facilitates interactions not only between teacher students, also students, and also students with those contents, because we have a bunch of multimedia content posted on the Miro box. So students, they can always check out those contents. And also student collaborations, not only in groups in the breakout rooms, but also between groups in the main room. And through this kind of contributions on Miro, it also helps our students to make their learning progress visible, because they need to work on those multimedia contents, they need to create and also evaluate peers' work on the Miro bot. Besides, we will have some pre-class tests for our students, so they will easily check out their learning performance before the class and after the class. Because we are getting back to the face-to-face classrooms, this workshop we want to bring you some insights. Like, first, we may need to rethink the role of education. If it's a facilitating tool in the classroom, it's not a must actually. So we need to rethink our purpose of using it in the classroom. Do we want more interactions, or do we want to facilitate the in-class activities, or do we just want to manage student work? And also think of the size of your teaching team. Is there anybody can help, or maybe Telly, the ID team, can help? And also, how much time do you have for learning a new tool, or to train your TAs, or to teach your students to learn a new tool? So we actually want to, like, through this workshop, to provide some new ideas for you. So 2 more things to share. First, teaching is more important than using an e-tool. So it's okay if you think maybe your case is not that similar to those cases we introduced in this workshop. Another is less is more. We are not trying to say, oh, you must use this tool, or you must use that one. We just want to provide some idea to you. So I think so much for today's presentations, and I'm going to pass the time to Leon.
So thanks, Cindy, for the introduction. So so you can hear my voice, right? So actually, yeah. So actually, we have shared a few cases. So first is from Min, actually talking about in a learning in just a session. So what can we do? Cindy also share some cases actually in a class. What can we do? And also share a case actually for the whole course if we want to put everything on Miro. So what can we do? So we provide examples of different tiers of adoption of Miro. So the rest of the time before the QA, we will still have some time. So you can hear my voice, right? So yeah. So for the rest of the time, we will also want invite Lin to have some quick demo on the real Miro bot. So let me pass the mic to Lin. So after some demonstration, we will open the floor for the Q&A session. Okay, so let me pass the mic to Lin.
Okay. Thank you, Leon. I'm going to share the slides. In the chat forum, you can see the links we share, and please click the first one. It's the link for the template. And after you click it, you will be able to see the screen I share now. I'm going to give you the access of edit. So now if you're in, and you'll be able to edit. And the first feature I would like to introduce is that if you want everyone to see each other's real-time cursor, you can click the top right setting button and tick the collaborators colors. So now you can see like we have many visitors here. And the second one is we can see like several characters here. If you want to add a figure, you can download an image from the website and then click the end button in the left menu. And you click it, and you can see you can upload different files from your own device or like share via URL or something like that. And also, if you want to add some icons, like for example here, you see like I've added a question mark, indicates here is the reflective question I want you to think about. What can I do? So in the left menu, you click, you can see like 3 dots option here, and you click it. There's an icon finder. Click it, and you can search. You can search the icon you want to add here. Like for example, I click question mark. And here you can see all different options for question mark icon. So you click, drag one of them to your Miro board, and you can see it is added here. And by clicking it, you can, you can drag it to adjust the size of it. So now if you want to share the board with your students or your colleagues, you can click the top right button here, share. And then you can click the board link here, and you can set the access right to every individual visitors. Here, I give you the edit access. You can also limit their right to can view or can comment, or even you don't give any access to them. Then after you have shared the board with your students and have you completed the class, you want to save, archive this board, and you can click the top right button. There is export this board. By clicking it, you can save the whole board as an image or as a PDF. And if you want to embed this board to another website, you can click embed, and you get the embed code from here. So in my previous sample exercise, the first sample exercise, I mentioned like if you want to manage the time effectively, Miro has an inbuilt timer. So for all those functions, you can find it in the top down, in the left down button here. By clicking it, you can see extended menu. So here, there's a timer. By clicking it, you can set like 1 minute, and by clicking play, and now the time is counting down. So by clicking the stop button, you can stop timer here. And another function I like very much is voting. So we can see like in each panel here, there are individual groups. So after the students have typed in their answers, if you want other classmates to vote for the best, you can use the voting function, which is also at the bottom, left bottom here. Click voting. And you can see the voting here. You can name it, and you can set the voting period of time and how many votes each person will have. So let's say like 3 votes each person will have. And then the voting area, by clicking it, you'll be able to see a frame here. So by dragging it, you can set the voting area. So I would like the students, for example, here, I would like the students here to vote for the 3 scenarios and to pick the best rationale, the best group in each of the scenarios. So, and then, so I set this area as the voting area and I click done. And see here, you can see the thumbnail image of the voting area. And then, because I use the sticky notes to form the individual group, so I only want the students to vote for the sticky notes. So I untick other objects. So the students will only be able to vote the sticky notes. And then I start, and I click start now. So like from your side, I believe you can see like there are many buttons on each of the sticky notes. So by clicking, so for students, by clicking the add button for each sticky notes, you can see like this panel has been voted and the result will show up in the left menu bar. I can vote for another panel. Vote for another panel. So this is the voting function. If you want to end the voting, earlier, then you can click here, like time left, you can click end voting for all. I'm not sure whether you are voting. So I think these are some basic features and some more advanced features, more interactive features I would like to demonstrate in the Miro board. And I think one more thing I would like to add is at the very beginning I mentioned, if you want to select the object on the board, you need to click the top arrow, the arrow in the menu bar. So by clicking it, you can see my cursor has changed to the arrow from a hand gesture. So I unclick it. So you can see it is a hand gesture, which means I can only move around. So if I click it, then I will be able to select this panel. Now it is locked. So I can click it and I can unlock it. So I can move it around. Yep. And one last function. So if you have something you want the student to read, but not now, only at the end of the class, you can hide it first by clicking the hide button, the icon here, which means hide frame. You click it and then it's hidden. So you can only unhide it at the end. You can choose to unhide it at the end of the class. So students can only view it at the end of the class. So, okay, so I will finish my demonstration now and give the time back to Q&A session if you have any question.
Okay, thanks, Lynn, for the demonstration. So actually, again, we actually have demonstrated a few courses as well as some demos, real-time demos on the Miro. So the rest will be Q&A session. So if you have any questions, so feel free to ask us. So on Miro board or some other e-learning questions or on something else. So if you have any questions, so please use the chat room for raising the question, or you can just voice it out. It's also okay. And if you have difficulties on using these tools, we can actually work together to co-develop some contents for yours for classes. So again, feel free to contact us for more info for the support. Okay, that's all of today's webinar. So thank you very much. So take care and enjoy and have a happy new semester.